Well, it's Tuesday, and it's a few minutes before 2 o'clock. I made the commitment yesterday that I would take the primary off this bike. The intention was to do it this morning, but once again, life got in the way of my plans. So I'm out here at 2 o'clock, and I'm now going to take the primary open and mark timing marks on the alternator, and then see where we get from there. So at 2 o'clock to start, let's see how fast we can take a primary off. All right, let's get the bike up in the air and see how quickly I can get that primary case off, cover off. And this is my fancy microphone job you do. I'm going to turn it on and hook it up and see how it goes. Okay, that's on. Okay, tasting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tasting, tasting. All right, that sounds pretty good. Looks pretty good on the green bar readout. Okay. All right, hope you can hear me. Here we go. My special little tool. Makes life easy. Okay, now. The joy of getting this nut off the back of this. I think it's 3/4. Let's find out. This bike is old enough that it might be Whitworth. All right, that's on. Now I can go under here with a ratchet and probably get it off. Sometimes I come in from the other side with a really long extension. Okay, it's not too bad. All right. Nothing's ever easy. No. Don't you know? I thought I'd get away without taking this brake lever off, but I don't think so. All right, we got to drop this down anyway. Let's do that. Cautionary note, don't let your socket rub the top of the muffler because it'll scratch it. Make sure there's a gap when you do stuff like that. You lower the muffler to get at this Allen way down here behind the pipe. It's the one that's always roached because people can't get a screwdriver on it. Well, somebody put that one on nice and tight. Yo, Richard, come on in. I'm doing a video. You You can stay right by the gate if you'd like. I know how much you love doing the videos. Say hi to the world.
Hi.
Hi, world.
I wish you all the best of days.
The best of days. You're a good man, Richard. Let's see if I can get this to hold it down. All right. Now, see if we can get her cracked open.
It's a surprise when you open the bottom end and it comes out.
Oh, this is just the primary. Let's hope for no surprises.
Just remember, if water comes out, it's not a head gasket. I'll lend you a bigger hammer.
By the way, your little bit is there on the.
Oh.
There. I ordered in a whole set.
It worked, huh?
Oh, beautifully. Thank you. Do you remember Dirty Dan, the bike we had steam cleaned?
Yeah.
Kevin got it running this morning. This morning, yep, fired it up.
Now it's different.
So now the client just needs to make a decision as to whether or not he wants to spend money on it.
I'll probably put on the ad just recently. It's running. Has not been ridden.
Well, that's a good point. It would make it more valuable.
It's like a running car,
Yeah.
and if it has air conditioning,
Yeah.
it's even better.
What's something's hanging on this.
You got a bigger hammer.
Something's hanging. Is it just these? Well, I think it's a gasket for some reason. I have a new gasket, so I don't care.
The gasket's hung up on the.
Yeah, right
There
there.
we go. Right here was hung up
Okay.
on the back of it.
All right, world. This is Richard. Richard, hi, world. Oh my gosh, it's got the old-fashioned open.
Man, what a mess.
Wow, look at this rotor.
It is, Britt. You should look at that.
Look over here.
It's dripping oil all over the place.
Look at that.
Wow, open rotor, yeah. This
Yeah.
ain't the specs.
That's really old. All right, so if it tests good, we leave it alone.
Yeah, if it works, it works.
Oh yeah, it's coming right down this wood. All right. My bad.
It's an omen.
Yeah.
I hear noises there. Somebody back?
Yeah, Sean's back.
Why the hell am I being bored in here? I'll see you later. We'll say hi to her.
Okay.
Knock, knock.
Richard, in case you haven't seen him before on video, is my across the street neighbor. He knows more about mechanics, especially cars. Mostly cars, not much motorcycle. But boy, he's a good mechanic and a great neighbor to have. When I can't figure it out, he can. And he welds, which makes him really valuable. He's made more of my little special tools than you can shake a stick at. Okay, now let me show you what I'm talking about on this alternator. We'll get the camera and do a little close-up action. There's the primary. Here's the old-fashioned open, not sealed 3-wire alternator. If it tests good, I mean, there's no reason to do anything with it, as long as it's not grounded out in any way, and as long as all three wires are connecting. Yeah, there you go. Looked like they might have been resoldered, but as long as they test good continuity, we'll leave it alone. The thing that is interesting is look at the damage to the rotor. This rotor, at some point in time, has come loose and spun. And I'm going to take it out of there, even though I don't need to, because I want to make sure that the rotor is not spinning on the hub. If it's spinning on the hub, then the timing marks we make wouldn't be accurate because it would vary from test to test. So I'm going to do that next. The belt is a little tight for my taste, but not bad. Usually about 3/8 of flex. And that's not bad. I'd leave that. I could loosen it a little bit, but I don't think I will. That's not bad. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put you back up on the tripod and see where we go from here. All right, I'm going to show you how to do a very basic test on an alternator stator to see if it is shorted to ground, which is bad, or if it's lost any continuity between the leads, which is bad, and to make sure that all the leads are connected to each other, which is good. If you are an old guy like me, you're familiar with the Simpson multimeters. This one is probably the better part of 50, 60 years old. It's wonderful. And it's analog. When you connect the two leads together, like this, the needle goes over and says, you have connected your leads together. I have continuity. There are no flashing lights, no numbers that you have to catch, nothing to interpret. It's good or bad. So anyway, these are the three wires that come off of this stator. They go down here, come out the bottom, and then get connected and sent up to the rectifier way up on top. Our objective at this first point is to make sure that they are all connected to each other. You do that by watching the resistance through the coils and back out the individual wires. Now, I'm going to get down here. I'm going to try to stay out of your way. I'm going to go from this lead to this lead, continuity, to this lead. I'm going to go from the middle lead, continuity, there, continuity there. I'm going to go from this lead to this lead to this lead. They all have continuity. Now, somebody's going to write in and say, Frank, you don't need to do that. Once you've done one to the other two, you know you have continuity. I know that. But it's fun checking them individually in every group possible. And it also makes it easier to explain. So every wire is connected to every other wire, okay? Like so. And yeah, you could do it in groups, do it once, twice, and know that you got them all. But this way, you know for a fact, and it simplifies things for people who don't really understand electricity, current flow, resistance, things like that. So just make sure they're all connected to each other. Now the fun part is you got to go to any one of them, but I'm going to use them all. Go from any one of them, and you go to ground on the bike, and you make sure that there is not continuity. You do not want any of these wires to be connected to the engine or frame ground. And notice that so far, all three of them are coming up clean, no ground. Once again, somebody's going to say, you don't have to check all three, Frank. You know they're hooked together. All you have to do is check one of them. And if one of them goes to ground, you know that one of them is bad, and it doesn't matter which. But frankly, folks, I know that. But I check all three of them. That little sweep was when I had two hooked together. And at this point in time, I can say the coils are not shorted to ground. The coils are hooked together and most probably in the correct way because it's stock, it's original, and it's not bad. So by testing these three leads to make sure that they're all connected to each other and that none of them are connected to the frame of the motor, this is a good stator. No need to change it, even though it's really old and really obsolete and everything's hanging out and they're not encapsulated. But c'est la vie, who cares? It works. So now I'm going to take two of these wires, hook them together into a double Lucas connector, and one of them stays separate. Those two wires then go up here. Can you see up this high? They connect and go up here to these two wires up on top of the motor, and these go to the rectifier, which will change the AC voltage from this alternating current comes out of the alternator, and then it goes up to the rectifier and gets changed into DC current. So this stator will put out the better part of 35 to 50 volts AC, which gets cut in half to about 25 volts or less AC, and then the rectifier rectifies it down to DC, and then the Zener diode cuts that off to about 14 volts. So alternator, rectifier, Zener diode, those are the three components in this old stock electrical system. AC out, DC to the battery. It works. It's crude, it's rude, but it works, which is really amazing. So we can leave this one completely stock. Now at this point in time, I'm going to get underneath there and I'm going to gang up two wires together and hook them to one of these leads, and the third wire will just come up to the other lead. And it doesn't matter where you connect them because it's AC. I'll show you. All right, just looking at one of these old wiring diagrams, you can see that I've sort of exaggerated the white-green is a single wire. The green-yellow and the green-black get hooked together with a connector and then get hooked up to green-yellow, which is all the way down to this is the rectifier, and I've sort of drawn it out here again. Green-black, green-yellow go into the dual connector, which is this one, and the green-white, or the white-green, excuse me, white-green and white-green go into the single one like that. I'm going to do that now. All right, so I'm going to put these connectors on now. I'm going to take this piece of shrink tubing and stick it up on this white-green as far as I can, just get it out of the way. And then put that white-green, this is the single one, into this white-green over here. That'll be the single connector. Once we get that out of the way, we can stop worrying about the other ones. Now I have a pair of pliers here that I've cut the front into a notch. I know they make a nice set that'll do this job. I've never liked the ones they sell, so I just made these. Okay, so that hooks those up. Now this shrink can go over top of it, just because I had it available. Then we take this remaining wire, put it into the dual contact. Oops, yeah, I can still get this over it. Put that big piece of shrink over that. Just because I happen to have it, I stock a lot of shrink tubing. These are new connectors, by the way. The old ones tend to get corroded and brittle, so I never put old connectors back on. These are new ones. I stock them. I buy them from R&D Enterprises, really good people, and I buy them 100, 200 at a time. So now I'm going to tighten these down. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I know it's difficult. My head in the way and everything else. But there, and I'll push that in. And then this will push the other one in. So now they're all the way in. So now I've just turned a 6-volt alternator into a 12-volt alternator. And now just for grins, I'm going to shrink these down and call it good. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to pull those wires up and I'm going to tie them to the frame underneath so that they're held as far to the right, to the other side, as possible to keep them away from the chain because they come down right out of the area where the chain is. So I'm going to take a knot tie and tie it to the far side frame just to hold those wires way over there, away from the chain. Just as soon as I find my clippers. Hi world, from this side of the aisle. We take this wire that's hanging down over here and hook it up to the frame so that it can't possibly move over and get caught up in the chain. Okay. Now this is all prep. What I'm really here to do is make timing marks on that rotor and stator, which I'm going to start now. The actual reason I opened it up when I was surprised to find this really old alternator. But the alternator checks good, so I'm going to leave it. Now I'm going to set top dead center and make some marks. I'll be back. At this point in time, I have the spark plugs out. You can see the spark plug up there at the beginning, the hole. The bike is in 4th gear. I have 2 of these top dead center tools in my hand. One fits one bike up to a certain year, and the other one takes over after that. I can never remember which is which, so I have to try them both. Kevin has one of these that's really cool because it's actually both of them built into one. You use either end. I think that's really slick. But I bought mine a long time ago, and I didn't know about that other one, or if they made it back then. So anyway, I'm going to use this top dead center tool to find top dead center. I'm going to work on the other side of the bike, so I'm not in your view. As I recall, when I put this thing together and adjusted the valves, this flywheel only has 1 notch in it for top dead center. It does not have the fully advanced notch, and that's a darn shame. So let's go find top dead center. I see fine threads and I see coarse threads, so I know this one's not going to fit. And I'm right again. I see fine threads and I see fine threads. This one should go in. And miraculously it does. Those threads are meshed. All right. This should go down and make contact with the flywheel. Let's turn it around. I've got my finger over the spark plug hole over here. And I'm supposed to be up in the air. Oh, that's tight. All right. Oh, because the brake is dragging, that's why. Well, doggone it, the brake's dragging. Never mind, I'm going to stop for a minute. Okay, I tied the brake lever up so that the wheel will now turn. Let's see if I can feel compression as this guy goes around. There it is right there. So I'm going to put him in here, take it around, and there it fell in the top dead center. So I'm going to go completely around and prove that there's no before top dead center. Go past it. And one that drops in. That's top dead center or full advanced. If there's a second notch, then this is full advanced, and the second notch is top dead center. So let's just take it out just a little bit and then continue going around. And A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, no second notch. So obviously there's only one notch that's at top dead center. So let's get the top dead center. We'll drop this in. And there it is. Now that's top dead center right there. So now we have to make a mark at top dead center and then make a second mark at full advance. I'll bring the camera over here while we do that. And there goes my neighbor with his Hartley Ferguson. And his Hartley Ferguson set off his own alarm. I inscribed 2 marks on the rotor on the bike. One marked at top dead center and the other marked at 38 degrees before top dead center. I didn't video it because it's it's not much fun. Anyway, the bike is at the top dead center right now because the top dead center tool is in the notch. And around here, this pointer that I made a long time ago, it's just a spacer with a wire soldered onto it, but the wire is malleable so I can move it to just about anywhere I want. Anyway, right here at this point in time, right there, it's marked top dead center. You can see the punches that I made with my punch, shall I say, center punch. So that's top dead center. Now when we rotate the bike backwards, if I take this pin out here, releasing top dead center. Okay, get it out there, Frank. There it goes. Okay, now it's out. And now if I rotate the wheel backwards, this is going to move to where this point will be at the pointer when the engine is 38 degrees before top dead center. Goes this way, it's 38 degrees before, okay? I measured it with the world's oldest tiny little degree wheel that I'm ashamed to show you because I've been using it for so many years. But basically, top dead center is a notch right there at 0. And you count over to the red line, that's 38 degrees, 2 degrees before 40, and that's the difference between the two, and I just marked them. So it's old and it's nasty, but it works. So I'm going to let this drive because I'm done for the day. I'll fire it up tomorrow. Maybe Kevin will come down here and operate the throttle. If not, I can do it by myself. But in the meantime, we're ready to test the ignition with the strobe light. Right now I have to get cleaned up, put on some civilian clothing, make myself all fancy schmancy and neat because we have a neighborhood homeowners association tonight. And I are one of the board members, so I have to look human. So I'm going to go take a quick shower and get dressed in some civvies and go down and listen to my neighbors talk about stuff and see if there's anything we can do about what they talk about. The good news is it's a neighborhood association. It's not an HOA. It's not a POA, Property Owners Association. So there's no enforcement of anything. It's just we're here to talk to the city as a group if necessary. So I would not live anywhere that has an HOA. I could not do this business anywhere that has an HOA. Yeah, it just wouldn't be allowed. So, matter of fact, I'm on the board to make sure that our neighborhood association never becomes an HOA. It would not serve my purposes because I'd have to shut this place down, even though I'm 100% legal with a business license and meeting all the requirements for a home-owned business as far as category, whatever it's called, is concerned. Zoning. And this is perfectly legal. So I'm going to go post this and then get ready for the meeting.